there, friends. Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library. And I've got Brill here with me today for a very exciting video that I have been just really hyped to share with you. So we just started January, right? We just started a brand new year. We're in 2026 now. And January is a little bit of a slog, right? At least for me, I feel like it is. The weather's not very good. It's cold, it's dreary, it's snowy or rainy. The holidays are over, so it feels like there's nothing to look forward to. Spring feels so far away. But there is one really fun thing about January that I absolutely love, and that is talking about my favorite books that I read the previous year. So I read all the way up until the end of the year, right? This is why I don't do these videos in December. Because what if I come across a book on December 28th that ends up blowing all the rest of them out of the water, right? So I love to save this for January, and I love to talk about the best books that I've read. So this whole month, I'm going to be talking about a bunch of different books that I loved. Today we're going to talk about my top 5 favorite overall, like just literary fiction, basically. We're gonna in the upcoming weeks we're gonna talk about the best thrillers, the best romance, the best fantasy and sci-fi. But for today, we're just gonna talk about the top 5 in terms of like literary fiction, right? And again, this is super subjective, right? These might be books that you have not heard of or books that you read and you're like, are you kidding me? Why in the world would you rate this the way that you did? I want to know what some of your favorite books are that you've read. Leave some comments below and tell me what some of the best books that you read last year were, because, you know, I want to check them out too. So I read over 350 books last year. Whew, that's a lot of books, right? It was very hard. When I tell you, it's always so difficult to go through all of them and decide which ones I love the absolute most. But I was able to, and here are my top 5 favorites. Okay, starting off with number 5. Eli Harper's Adventure to the Afterlife by Eric Schlich. Eli Harpo's Adventure to the Afterlife. Now, this is a book that I think many of you may not have heard of. It did not get a lot of attention. I feel like I read it in a book review somewhere, and it sparked my attention. I was really interested in reading it. But I haven't heard a lot about it. This is one of the books on the list that I feel like is not getting a lot of attention, and I'm kind of sad about it because it's absolutely amazing. Now, this book deals with some very specific things, and I know why they appeal to me, but I think in just a general consensus, this is a very enjoyable book, and it's something that I think a lot of people will enjoy. So this book deals a lot with religion, and it deals a lot with sexuality, and it's about a boy who, when he was very young, underwent heart surgery and experienced this divine miracle, this divine vision of going to heaven and having this experience with God and with Jesus. At least that's what his dad tells him happened. He's not really too sure on the details, and as he gets older, he's beginning to doubt that more and more. So he's a teenager now. His mom is fighting breast cancer, but his dad is basically this Baptist minister and is always just touting this story about, oh, my son had heart surgery and he saw God and God let him live and all this stuff. And Eli's like, I don't really know what I believe anymore. Well, a big television televangelist visits them and basically wants Eli to come down to to his big Bible world, which is basically like a theme park for religion, and wants him to like basically be the center of the attraction there for people to come and talk with him, and like they want to meet him and stuff like that. So of course his father's like, oh my God, yes, we're doing that. So they go, it's this big road trip down to Florida to go to Bible World. But like I said, this whole time Eli is experiencing things that may not be completely copacetic with his Baptist family's beliefs. He is dealing with questioning his sexuality. He's dealing with thoughts of grief because of his mother who's very sick. And so there's this whole big trying to understand himself and who he is. And it's got a lot of humor in it. It's darkly funny. But it's just a really great story about family, where you fit in with your family, you know, and basically being true to yourself and who you really are. I thought this book was fantastic. I loved it so much. I think it has a very wide appeal, even though, like I said, for me, there were a lot of things in it that hit very personally, but I think that a lot of people will get a lot out of this book. It's absolutely fantastic. Eli Harpo's Adventure to the Afterlife. Okay, coming up at number 4, we've got Heart the Lover by Lily King. I was really lucky to get a copy of this, an advanced reader copy, when I was at that Librarian conference over the summer, and I got to meet Lily King and hear her talk, and she was absolutely amazing. I've read some of Lily King's other books, and I've enjoyed them just fine. She was never anything that like made me, she's never been like a favorite author of mine. I just have enjoyed her works. This book, Heart the Lover, it's phenomenal. It's a very simple story. It's about this woman who is in college, and basically she gets caught up with these two students, Yash, and I think Sam is the other one's name. Yash and Sam, and becomes really close friends with them and gets sucked into their world of like extreme intellectualism and playing card games late at night, and they become really good friends. You can probably see where this is going. There becomes a little bit of a love triangle between the three of them. So cut to the present, and she has moved on and is living her current life. She gets a call regarding these two guys that changes everything. I can't give any more details about what that part of it is because I don't want to give it away. This book, you really have to read it and experience it. You're like, okay, how can a book that is literally about these 3 college people and a love triangle between the 3 of them, and like, why is that really good? It's really good because at its heart, this book is about what it feels like to be in love. That experience of falling in love so hard for the first time for this main character, but even if it's not your first time falling in love, it doesn't matter. You're going to relate to everything that happens in this book. Well, maybe not everything, but so many things that the main character goes through in this story are just so relatable. I felt like I was reading a book about my best friend. Like, it just felt like I knew her, and I knew exactly what she was going through, and it felt like I was having a phone conversation with her and her telling me about all these things that were going on with Sam and Yash. Like, it just felt so real. The writing style, the characters, everything about it is so honest and vibrant and just emotional. And I think that anyone who has experienced life, which I know sounds very grandiose and dramatic, but really, if you've experienced that feeling of falling in love, especially that first time you fall in love, and how everything just feels so huge, huger than the sky, you are going to love this book. And of course, it's written so beautifully. It has an amazing ending. The characters are just, they're so real and awesome. I love them so much. I did not want to say goodbye to them at the end of this book. And like I said, this book, was not expecting that. I like Lily King just fine, and I was reading it because I got a signed copy of this book and because I heard her talk, and I thought she was really cool. But yeah, this book blew me away. It's amazing, and I highly recommend it, which is why it came out to be, not 3, but 4. Number 4 on my list. Heart the Lover. All right, we're getting down to it. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We're on number 3. And that is My Friends by Fredrik Backman. I love Fredrik Backman. Anxious People is probably my favorite book by him. I think he's absolutely fantastic. So I went in with high hopes for this book, and he delivered. I thought this book was absolutely phenomenal. I actually got to read this book twice within the span of a year. Once because I was excited to read it, and then a second time I got to help facilitate the one of the book discussion groups at the library with a lovely group of patrons, and we got to talk about this book, and it was so much fun reading it for the first time and then reading it again with them and pulling it all apart and reading it even deeper. So I know I've talked about this book before. This book is about, it's called My Friends. It's about a lot of things. It's about friendship. It's about art. It's about supporting each other as humans. Basically, it's about this painting. The main character, Louisa, she's just about to be 18 years old, and she is obsessed with this beautiful painting that means so much to her. This painting features a pier with water and these kids sitting on the pier. And the story goes back and forth between the current time with Louisa, with this person that she meets, Ted, who is involved in the painting, with the artist of the painting, and then goes back to the events of the painting when the artist was a young boy with his friends, and how they were in this really isolated town. Some of their lives were not very great, so they relied on their friendship to get them through hard times. Oh my God, it's beautiful. This book is about family. It's about friendship. It's about life. It's just absolutely phenomenal. And the way it's written, like the going back and forth between the past and the present, is so well done. I think if it had been written any other way, it wouldn't have worked as well. But the way it's done is just absolutely brilliant. And if you've read Fredrik Backman's books before, you know his books always have this really great way of tying everything together. And this one does that as well. Very sad moments, but very beautiful, heart-wrenching moments as well. Uplifting, empowering. Love, 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 love this book. My Friends by Fredrik Backman. Okay. Book number 2. The Road to Tender Hearts by Annie Hartnett. Oh my gosh, yes. I know I talked about this book not that long ago. Absolutely love, love, love this book. Annie Hartnett has done it again. Her previous book, Unlikely Animals, was my #1 favorite book of whatever year it came out. I can't remember now, maybe 2021. I'm not sure. 2022. Whenever Unlikely Animals came out, it was my favorite book of the year, and I had very high hopes for this, and it did not disappoint. She wrote this amazing road trip story about these cast of characters that are so unbelievably flawed, but so human in their flaws, and so lovely and beautiful in their flaws and in their humanity. And that's what this book is about. It's about a character named PJ who you just would not even trust him to put his hat on correctly, who suddenly becomes the caregiver for these traumatized children, and he decides to take them and his daughter on a road trip across the country, and shenanigans ensue, obviously. This is another book that is laugh out loud funny, but also you will cry. You will be terrified at certain moments for these characters. You will love these characters. They are so unique, each one of them. So this is the kind of book where, and I feel like Annie Hartnett really excels at this, every character in this story is their own amazing person. Nobody is flat. Nobody's two-dimensional. You could read a book out of each one of these characters by themselves, like starring their own book, and it would be amazing. She's just fantastic. My gosh, if you haven't read anything by Annie Hartnett, please, please, please read this one, and then go read Unlikely Animals. Her first book, Rabbit Cake, is also very good, but I feel like this one and Unlikely Animals are just the stars of her writing career so far. The Road to Tender Hearts. Okay. I had a feeling when I first read this book that it was going to be my favorite of the year. And even though some of these other ones came very close, particularly that last one I talked about, nothing means more to me than this book that I read this year in terms of reading, right? Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book, I can never stop talking about how much this book means to me. This beautiful, beautiful story about female astronauts in the 80s, the NASA, the space program, gay rights back then, gay couples, gay relationships. Everything about this book was so incredibly beautiful. And Taylor Jenkins Reid, I know, is a big name author. I know this book has been getting a lot of popularity when it first came out. I wouldn't necessarily call myself a Taylor Jenkins Reid fan. Like, I've read a lot of her books, and some of them are hit or miss for me. I love a lot of them, others I don't care for. So I went into this with no expectations, but I wanted to read it because it looked and sounded really cool. And oh my God, it is. Like I said, it's about women astronauts in the 80s, how they had to overcome the misogyny and discrimination, which was really not that long ago. It was just the 80s, to excel in this program. It also is a beautiful, beautiful love story. It also is a beautiful family story. The way the main character connects with her niece is just absolutely phenomenal. And I also really loved the way spirituality was talked about in this book as well. I thought it was very beautifully done, so poignant, so well written. I love everything about this book. This book starts off with a bang, with a very important, intense scene, and then walks it back. So something really important happens, and then you are taken back in time a little bit and learn everything that leads up to that event. Wonderfully done. I thought it was fantastic. It gave a level of intensity and caring about these characters that I thought was just absolutely phenomenal. If you've not read anything by this author, this is the one to start with. I thought it was so, so good. Like I said, it was really well written, but also for me, the emotional journey that this book took me on, I will never forget it. It means the world to me. It's so, so beautiful. So do read this book, please, if you haven't already. Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Well, those are my top 5 favorite books that I read this year. Adult books. Like I said, the whole month we're going to be talking about different genres. We're going to be talking about thrillers and thrillers and mystery, fantasy and sci-fi, some romance. But I want to hear also about some of your favorite books. So let me know in the comments what some of your favorite literary fiction books were this year. And I hope that some of these ones are something that you may want to read in this new year. Thank you so much for watching, friends, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day.